Good evening and welcome to Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. I'm Bernadine Jayasinghe. Let's now take a look at headlines. Severe punishments for ragging. President directs police to file action as per the Act. Warning to all raggers. 13 districts affected by the drought. General public requested to conserve water. Dry weather across the island. Politicians respond to the statement made by the Prime Minister at the party convention. Should Ranil stay till 2030? Another supplementary estimate of over 12 billion presented in Parliament. Supplementary estimate to Parliament.
ආපු සෙනගට කිරි පැකට් වගේක් දීලා තියෙනවා ඒවට ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් එකකින් යම්කිසි විෂද්‍රව්‍යයක් ඇතුළත් කරනවා. ඒක පොයින්ට් ඔෆ් ඕඩර් එක නෙමෙයි. මාලිගාවත්දී තමයි මේ මුජිබුර් රහ්මාන් මන්ත්‍රීතුමාගේ ගෝලියෝ ටික තමයි මේ කිරි පැකට් ටික දීලා.
අපිට කිරි දෙන්න ඕමනාවක් නැහැ. අපිට එහෙම දෙන දෙයක් අපි හංගලා දෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. දෙන්න ඕනේ නම් අපි එලිපිට දෙනවා. ඔය ගෑනු කරන වැඩ අපි කරන්නේ නැහැ. මේක නපුස්සක ව්‍යාපාරයන්ගේ නායකයන්ගේ ව්‍යාපාරයක්.
That was the footage of the fire that engulfed a building in Braybrook Place in Colombo 2. The fire was doused following an operation that lasted 2 hours.
A fire erupted at a building under construction in Braybrook Place in Colombo 2. As the fire erupted during office hours, steps were taken to evacuate the occupants of surrounding buildings. Within minutes, the fire spread to an adjacent 8-storied building. The fire brigade of the Colombo Municipal Council was prompt to act and first took steps to prevent the blaze from spreading. However, the fire did spread to an adjacent building and additional equipment and personnel were called in to control the fire. Over 50 firefighters and 8 fire trucks were deployed for the operation. The Air Force also assisted to douse the fire in an operation that lasted nearly 2 hours.
As we came here, the first question we asked was how many people are in this building. We didn't get any of those information properly. Because of that, we had to search all the floors. We had to spend some time for that. We expect these multi-storied buildings to have some form of preparation for a situation like this. If that was done properly, we could have carried out these operations smoothly.
An Indian national who was injured in the fire was admitted to the National Hospital. A hospital spokesperson said the man was a labourer at the construction site and that he is in stable condition. The cause of the fire has not been identified as of yet. However, it is suspected that an electric leakage at the construction site would have been the cause for the fire. An adjacent building was severely damaged in the fire.
Speaking in Polonnaruwa today, President Maithripala Sirisena said he instructed the police to file action against ragging in universities.
The children of our nation enter into universities with so much hope. But these politically influenced villains have taken over the university system. Sri Lanka is the only country where the president and ministers are now allowed to go for an event at the university. A beautiful auditorium was built in the Ruhunu University by the Indian government. They made an appointment with me 3 months ago to declare this open. Those who kill, abuse, sexually harass university students have gone to the Indian High Commission and handed over an epistle requesting not to let the president attend the event. The Peradeniya University has been closed for a month. Do you know why? What is the engineering faculty asking for? They say they can't sit for the exam without an attendance percentage of 80%. The students are being controlled by the frontliners. They want that condition to be completely taken off. This is inhumane and uncivilized. The law to severely punish who engage in ragging was passed in Parliament by the late Richard Patirana. The law was not enacted all this time. Cases were not filed under this act. But we asked them to file cases under this act. We can't let the future of these children get ruined because of these people.
The
president made this statement while attending the event to lay foundation stone for the National Vocational Training Building in Hingurakgoda, Polonnaruwa. The project, implemented with the funds of Netherlands, cost 7 billion rupees. The renovation of the Ginipeti Palama attached to the Parakrama Samudra in Polonnaruwa began today. 15,000 acres of paddy fields did not receive water during this season due to the dilapidated state of the bridge. The estimated cost of the project is 250 million rupees.
A supplementary massive estimate of a massive 12.4 billion rupees was presented to Parliament today.
Of the total 12.4 billion rupees of additional funds, 500 million rupees is for the implementation of the Gamperaliya project. This includes an additional 1 million rupees for promotional expenses incurred for the inauguration ceremony of Gamperaliya in Kurunegala. There's a light years difference between the budget proposal and what is implemented. Votes were obtained on the promise of the establishment of a budget office, but those are just sweet tales of the Prime Minister. Those are stories he narrates as a hobby. Those promises haven't been fulfilled even after 3 years. We see that the expenses for these events have become a serious problem in the country. It is hard to audit the expenses that the President and Prime Minister attends, especially Deputy Speaker. The massive expenses incurred for the deployment of the police and army, they cannot be audited. Other than that, there are other massive expenses. Now take a look at your Gamperaliya program. 10 billion has been allocated for propaganda activity. Even today, an estimate was presented. For what? 1 million for the additional expenses of the inauguration ceremony in Kurunegala. There are no guidelines or limits for this. So I asked the Auditor General to please take about 5 or 10 of the past large-scale state events and show how much of money of the general public has been wasted.
One of the headline-making stories. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, speaking at the UNP party convention yesterday, hinted that he hopes to stay at the helm of the party until 2030. Here are some of the views that were expressed in response to this statement.
2030 is a long time away. I am 2 years younger than Ranil Wickremesinghe. Even I can't stay in politics for so long. I'd stay for another 5 years at most. I'll stay with the next government. After that, I will not continue. I think for people of our age, 2025 is the limit. After that, it is the new generation that comes in. I see Mahinda Rajapaksa making a lot of effort to walk down the steps in Parliament. Sometimes when we speak, we make mistakes. This happens to us as well. I don't know if something like that happened. If I did not come in at that time, there would have been no one from the UNP to contest the election, so I volunteered. I am against continuing the concept of this common candidate. Politics should be conducted according to the will of the people. I don't believe that one would be successful in governance if he comes in without the people's power.
By now, our leader is 69 years old. By 2030, he will be about 80. The life expectancy in Sri Lanka is about 70 to 75. No one is immortal in this world. We think that he will one day mold a good leader and hand the party over to him. At the party convention yesterday, there was a good response from the general public when the prospective future leaders of the party were speaking. The party supporters will choose who they want next. I don't want to abandon that dream. I am still waiting for that dream to become a reality. I believe at least this time he will make an effort to make that dream a reality.
Views were expressed in Parliament about the joint opposition protest rally that was held on Wednesday.
They made a huge effort to bring down the country's economy by declaring Colombo as an unsafe zone. The protesters who created problems wanted to see blood and dead bodies. While laughing at those who humiliated themselves by launching such an unsuccessful operation, I appreciate the service rendered by the police, armed forces and intelligence units.
Milk packets with something poisonous injected into them were distributed among the crowd. Supporters of Mujibur Rahman distributed the milk packets in Maligawata.
I am ashamed of the accusation levelled against me by MP Vimal Veeravansa. First, I'd like to highlight that we engage in politics with a political history. So, we will never inject things into milk packets and distribute them. If you want to do something, we will meet them face to face and do it. Maybe you are used to that type of work, but I will not do anything of that sort. They arrived in Colombo on the 5th to take it and go. MP Vasudeva Nanayakkara said only 2,000 were left at 9 in the night. It wasn't us who said that. We thought they were fighters. If they were fighters, they should end up in jail on the 6th. Instead, they weren't in jail. They were on the road, drunk and passed out. They were in hospitals, not in jail. The street fighters came to topple the government, but those who came to topple the government polluted the city of Colombo.
You were there in the night under the influence of alcohol. This accusation is against you. Don't do things like this.
He says I was drunk. I didn't go there drunk. You were in Shangri-La. You were drunk and you weren't in a position to go home. You abandoned those who joined the protest and went to Shangri-La. The protesters didn't have a way of going back home. They gave expired milk because they didn't have enough food. The expired milk was poisoned and now they have put the blame on us. We didn't want to give anyone milk. We will not hide behind anything if we wanted to give something.
UPFA parliamentarian Dayasiri Jayasekara raised a serious allegation concerning the medical profession.
When you take a look at the degree in nutrition and dietetics, it takes around 4 years to obtain the degree. However, a doctor can get the same degree by following a 6-month course. What is astounding is that some of the heads in the GMOA have followed this course and commenced work in their hospitals. Why are doctors trying to do other people's work? Doctors must engage in what they are supposed to be doing. What they are doing is putting other professions at risk while protecting their own. We are against this. The medical profession needs to be as it is. Trade unions must not be allowed to make their way into the medical council. Trade unions are trying to weasel their way in and create an issue. A proper system needs to be implemented. We respectfully request there be certain regulations on doctors. Are they updating their knowledge? This must be looked into. There is no system in Sri Lanka to do so. Therefore, there is a need to have a regulatory mechanism on doctors. It is paramount that we have one.
A trio of Indian Navy ships arrived at the port of Trincomalee today. They will take part in naval drills held over a period of 6 days.
At about 11 this morning, the Indian vessels INS Sumitra, INS Kerch and INS Kora Dev arrived at the Trincomalee port. The Sri Lanka Navy Indian Navy joint exercise, also called SLINEX 2018, is aimed at improving relations on marine operations and strengthening trust between the two navies. The exercise, which is of significant geopolitical interest, is scheduled to be held off the coast of Trincomalee until the 13th of this month. This year's naval drill will include personnel of the Special Boat Squadron, Rapid Action Boat Squadron and airmen from the Sri Lankan Air Force for the first time. The Indian High Commissioner said that the naval exercises that were conducted in the last 2 years will continue next year as well.
Moody's Investors Service says that the outlook for Sri Lanka's banking system is negative as the economy remains weak and asset quality is deteriorating.
Moody's conclusions are contained in its just released, quote, Banking System Outlook, Sri Lankan Banks, Macroeconomic Risks and Deteriorating Asset Quality Drive Negative Outlook, unquote. Teng Fu Lee, a Moody's analyst, in a statement says the economy will only exhibit a modest rebound as the government's high debt burden and reliance on foreign borrowings continue to limit public investment and pose the risk of capital outflows. The statement adds credit growth was very high over the last 2 years, with the credit multiplier peaking at more than 2.5 times. A high debt burden and contingent liabilities relating to state-owned enterprises will continue to limit the government's capacity to support the banks. Non-performing loans in Sri Lanka's banks rose to 3% of assets in March 2018 from 2.7% a year earlier, though the economy is expected to grow 4% in 2018 from 3.7% last year. Speaking on Newsline this morning, senior banker Rusiripala Tennakon spoke about the non-performing loans in People's Bank.
Like a whistleblower sent us a document, and so we've become aware of the non-performing loans of the People's Bank.
Yeah.
It amounts to something, what, over, how much is it?
No, in that list, I also saw that list.
Yeah.
It's running to about 15 billion,
right,
which has been the amounts that went into non-performing as of 30th of June.
Right.
So, I mean, what is going into non-performing these days for us are the amounts that have been granted very recently.
Right.
Under this regime.
Right.
During this period. And if you look at that list, you see most of the loans are above 100 million.
So
most of the loans.
This is the yardstick.
And if you see the names there, I'm not going to mention anything for various other reasons.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you see the names, they are big companies who are operating in the country.
And when we look at those, do you recognize companies that are easily identifiable as having political patronage?
Definitely, most of them having political patronage, and they have been big guns under previous government and also under this government.
The Disaster Management Centre says that people over 11 districts in the country have been affected by the prevailing drought as they lack access to clean drinking water.
This situation is faced by the districts of Ampara, Jaffna, Vaunia, Kilinochchi, Mana, Mullatiu, Patikalo, Trincomalee, Polonnaruwa, Anuradhapura and Kurunegala. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board has provided 210 water bowsers and 3,470 water tanks for the people in these areas. Meanwhile, the National Water Supply and Drainage Board requests people in the public to limit water usage due to the prevailing weather. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board requested the public to limit water usage to only what was required for domestic activities. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board explained that water supplies were diminishing rapidly due to the prevailing dry weather and the resulting increase in the consumption of water.
People living in rural areas of our country obtain loans at high interest rates under various microfinance schemes and are forced to even commit suicide once they are unable to pay the loan. This issue has now become a national issue. A Gammadda team came across several such people in Vaunia.
Gammadda door-to-door initiative.
Various financial institutions come into villages, target economically vulnerable people and give them loans at high interest rates. These people who obtain the loans are further burdened as they are unable to pay back the loan and the interest. This lady is a victim of such a microfinance institution. They request support to come out of the debt trap they are currently in. The residents of this village do not have clean drinking water. The water they obtain from the wells in the area is yellow in color and is not suitable for consumption. We witnessed several unsafe wells in the area. Our teams in the Manipuram village saw that the people are suffering as a result of the kidney disease. There are several patients among the villagers and their family members are not certain of their future. Since this village is located atop a rock, it is extremely difficult to find water. Water cannot be obtained using the tube wells as well. Around 250 families who live in this area are requesting for a system to obtain water. They do not have water for cultivation as well. The residents of this village said that the monkeys entering the village has become an issue. They charge that the monkeys destroy the cultivation and they are unable to control it. These villagers obtain the water from a canal and are helpless during a drought. The main problem in this village is the lack of proper road system. The villagers charge that they have to undergo many hardships when carrying their produce to the market. When we spoke to the villagers of the Palle Gala Ura village, they said that they are facing issues as a result of lack of clean drinking water. There are several youth in the area who are unemployed and are facing economic problems. They are requesting a solution to their employment issues. These villagers are facing issues since they do not have land deeds. They say that they face issues when enrolling their children into schools and at various other instances. The people living in Ratlangama are facing issues as a result of the lack of clean drinking water.
Gammadda door-to-door initiative.
The Attorney General has instructed the IGP to file a case against MP Vijay Kala Maheswaran under the Section 120 in the Penal Code.
Attorney General Jayanta Jayasuriya, speaking to Newsfirst, said indictments will be filed against the MP at the Court of Appeal. These steps have been taken by the Attorney General as a result of a statement the parliamentarian made regarding the LTTE.
Northern Province Chief Minister C.V. Vigneswaran and Northern Province Ministers Ananthi Sasitharan and P. Sivanesan were ordered by the Court of Appeal to appear before court again on the 18th of September.
The trio appeared before court today after being ordered to do so to record facts over contempt of court as they failed to comply with an order given by the Court of Appeal on the 29th of June this year. On the 29th of June, the Court of Appeal issued an interim injunction restraining Northern Province Chief Minister C.V. Vigneswaran from removing Provincial Minister of Transport and Fisheries B. Dineshwaran from his post, and his order was extended until the 9th of October.
Stein Studios, the largest studio complex in South Asia that brought to life novel experiences for audiences here at home and across the globe, was awarded with the 5S certificate.
The award ceremony to present the 5S certificate was held with much pomp and pageantry at Stein Studios today. Group Director and CEO of the Capital Maharaja Organization, Mohan Barara, and Group Director Electronic Media Business, TCMOL, Nidra Veerasinghe, attended the ceremony. This is the first time that a media organization in the country was awarded the 5S certificate. Chandana Surya Bandara, the Chief Executive Officer of Stein Studios, accepted the award from the Director of the National Productivity Secretariat.
The Inspector General of Police and the National Police Commission was summoned to the Constitutional Council to discuss issues said to have arisen among both parties.
The Constitutional Council convened under the auspices of Chairman of the Council, Karu Jayasuriya. A statement from the Speaker's office reads, the National Police Commission and the IGP were instructed to solve all issues among them in 14 days and inform the Constitutional Council. At the meeting, the Speaker had reiterated that independent commissions were established under the 19th Constitutional Amendment to ensure that state institutions operate without political interventions.
The nomination of Elena B. Teplitz as a U.S. ambassador to Sri Lanka and Maldives has been confirmed by the U.S. Senate.
Teplitz, who was the previous U.S. ambassador in Nepal, is a career member of the Senior Foreign Service with the rank of Minister Counselor. She joined the U.S. State Department in 1991. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Foreign Service from the Georgetown University School of Foreign Service. Earlier, Teplitz held the Assistant Secretary ranked position of Director of the Under Secretary for Management's Office of Policy, Right-Sizing and Innovation at the Department of State from 2012 to 2015. Teplitz was Minister Counselor for Management at U.S. Embassy in Kabul from 2011 to 2012. She also served as the Deputy Executive Director of the Near East and South and Central Asia Bureau's Joint Executive Office from 2009 to 2011, where she handled the South and Central Asia portfolio, including Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Southern Provincial Councillor Krishanta Pushpakumar expressed the following views at a media briefing in Galle today.
The leader of the UNP is speaking about the reorganization of the party for over 10 years. That party will never have the democracy or the organizing that they speak of. There is no place for a person who works in that party. Do not anticipate the leadership of the UNP from Ranil Wickremesinghe until 2030. Ravi Karunanayake was aspiring to be the leader of that party, and the Prime Minister and the President. If someone hopes to become the leader of the party, he becomes a joke. Ranil Wickremesinghe will not hand over the leadership until he is alive.
We will end tonight's news with a statement made by President Maithripala Sirisena in Polonnaru about the ragging culture in universities. With that, we wrap up Primetime News. I'm Bernadine Jayasinghe. Good night. Take care.
The children of our nation enter into universities with so much hope. But these politically influenced villains have taken over the university system. Sri Lanka is the only country where the president and ministers are now allowed to go for an event at the university. A beautiful auditorium was built in the Ruhunu University by the Indian government. They made an appointment with me 3 months ago to declare this open. Those who kill, abuse, sexually harass university students have gone to the Indian High Commission and handed over an epistle requesting not to let the president attend the event. The Peradeniya University has been closed for a month. Do you know why? What is the engineering faculty asking for? They say they can't sit for the exam without an attendance percentage of 80%. The students are being controlled by the frontliners. They want that condition to be completely taken off. This is inhumane and uncivilized. The law to severely punish who engage in ragging was passed in Parliament by the late Richard Patirana. The law was not enacted all this time. Cases were not filed under this act. But we asked them to file cases under this act. We can't let the future of these children get ruined because of these people.
මේ දහස් ගණනක් මේ රටේ අනාගතේ බාර ගන්න ඉන්න විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයට යන මේ පින්වන්ත දරුවන්ගේ අනාගතේ විනාශ කරන්න දෙන්න පුළුවන් කමක් නැහැ.